Multiplying and dividing rational expressions. A way that a rational expression can be described is the quotient of two polynomials. When simplifying rational expressions, it's important that you follow these steps. They're very simplified steps so that you don't lose track of the way to do it. What you want to do is be organized and structured every single time. First step when you're multiplying and dividing is to factor. You're going to notice that these steps change slightly when we go to addition and subtraction. Factoring means that you're going to put all of the polynomials in simplest form. If that means there's a GCF, you got to take out the GCF. If that means you've got a trinomial that can be factored out into the product of two binomials, then you've got to be able to do that as well. Step number 2 is canceling. Now you're going to get into the habit of canceling identical quantities. Identical quantities are separated by parentheses or held together by parentheses and separated by plus and minus signs. So please notice that the quantities must be identical before they can be canceled. Be very careful about this. Don't get into a bad habit of making up math in this part of your simplification process. And of course, if the numbers are the same, you can cancel them as well. All right, and finally, you're going to simplify. And simplifying simply means that you're going to reduce all of your numbers into their simplest form. We're going to practice this a couple of times, then we'll move into multiplication and division. So the first thing I notice here is I got two trinomials. Hopefully they can be reduced into the product of two binomials. So let's go ahead and look what two numbers multiply together to make 3. That's going to be 3 and 1. And how do those two numbers add up to -2? That is going to be x minus 3 times x plus 1. These are quantities. In order to cancel them, they must be identical on the top and bottom. What two numbers multiply together to make 5? That's going to be 5 and 1. And how do those numbers add up to make 6? That's going to be x plus 1 and x plus 5. Now we have identical quantities, so I will be canceling those out. That's step number 2. Doesn't matter that they're not on top of each other either. They don't have to be. As long as one's on the top of the fraction and the other's on the bottom of the fraction, they're just fine. And we rewrite what's left. X minus 3 is a quantity. X plus 5 is a quantity. That means I cannot cancel the x's just because they are the same value. Be very careful about that. Don't make up math. All right, we're going to rewrite this as the product of two binomials. That's going to be x minus 4 times x minus 4. We're going to rewrite this as the product of two binomials by factoring. So the two numbers multiply together to make 20 are 5 and 4. The way that you get them to add up to -9 is -5 and -4. Cancel. What's left is your answer. Get in the habit of writing parentheses around your quantities, and that way it will never be a question as to whether or not the x's get canceled or not. All right, in multiplication, when you are multiplying, you can rewrite it as a single fraction, okay? There's a lot of things to organize here, so please be very careful about the way that you organize yourself, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the 12 and the 6 to 2. The second thing I'm going to do is reduce the 9 and the 3 to a 3. So that's going to be 2 and that's going to be 3, leaving them in their same place. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my x's on top as x to the 8. I'm going to rewrite my y's on top as y to the 3rd. Now down below I'm going to do the exact same thing. That's x to the 4th, y to the 7th. I'm going to simplify this down by multiplying together the 2 and the 3 to make 6. x8, x4 subtracts to make x to the 4th. 3 minus 7 is 4. There are more on the bottom, so that's going to be y to the 4th on the bottom. Number 4. Notice now I have a whole bunch of binomials and a trinomial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify them as best as I can. This one has a GCF, this is the difference of squares, and that is a trinomial which is factorable. So I'll first rewrite this one as 2 times x minus 1. I'll rewrite this one as x minus 4, x plus 4. I'll rewrite that one because it cannot be simplified. And now what two numbers multiply together to make 2? And how do those numbers add up to make negative 3? So that's going to be x minus 1 and x minus 2. Now we're going to have a big cancel party. This is going to cancel with that. This is going to cancel with that. And what's left is 2 times x minus 4 over x minus 2. Notice the 2 is part of a quantity, so it will not cancel with the other 2. Please do not get in the habit of trying to cancel things more than necessary. Right? Question number 5. Now you notice there's a whole bunch of binomials, so we're going to have to simplify them as best we can. The GCF here is 2. X plus 7 is left inside. The GCF here is 8. X plus 5 is left inside. The GCF here is 2. What's left inside is x squared minus 25, which is the difference of squares. And then what's left here is 6 times x plus 7. So instead of rewriting this whole thing again, I'm going to just cross this off and rewrite it as x minus 5, x plus 5. If this is not organized enough for you, then please by all means rewrite it or simply erase and fill in the difference of two squares in that place. But I want you to see where that came from so that there isn't any question about it. Cancel party. Okay. What's left is 8 over 6 times x minus 5. And now step number 3 comes into play. Simplify your numbers, reduce them to simplest form. The final answer here is 4/3 x minus 5. Please be prepared to share your answer to question number 6 tomorrow at the beginning of class as part of your warm-up assignment. All right, division is different in one single way. We have to take one extra step, and that step is going to keep, change, and flip. We're going to keep the first fraction the same. We're going to change the division to multiplication, and we're going to flip the second fraction over. Okay? So the first step here is x squared minus 2x minus 8 divided by x squared minus 2x minus 15 times 2x squared minus 10x divided by 2x squared minus 8x. Now that I've gone ahead and flipped it over, now it's just like the previous problems. This is a trinomial, and I've got a couple more binomials here. So I'm going to factor these. I'm going to take out the GCFs here and see what I have left. All right? So that becomes x minus 4, x minus 2. That is 2x times x minus 5. This is x minus 5 and x plus 3. And that is 2x times x minus 4. Now it's important to understand that these problems are intended to simplify. So as long as you're factoring these things properly, you're going to find numbers that cancel each other out once you get done simplifying. It does not matter that they're not on top of each other. As long as one's on the top of the fraction and the other's on the bottom of the fraction, then you're all right. So the final answer is x plus 2 divided by x minus 3. Question number 8. Keep, change, flip. So I get x to the third minus 125 divided by 5 minus x times 8x to the third divided by x squared plus 5x plus 25. All right, now for those of you who are perceptive, this is the difference of cubes. That's going to be a b times a squared b squared. You know, this is such a long time ago, and we use our SOAP. Same, opposite, always positive. So all of those factoring tricks are going to come into play. Whether or not you recognize them is going to be a very important key to whether you get these problems right or not. So we get x minus 5 times x squared plus 5x plus 25 times 8x to the third power. We're going to divide that over 5 minus x and x squared plus 5x plus 25. Cancel here. These do not cancel because the signs are switched, and 8x to the third power has nothing to cancel with either. There's your simplified answer. All right, in question number 9, the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite it. 4x to the third y squared 2x to the sixth y times x squared minus 3x minus 10 divided by x, y plus 2y. I'm going to focus on this one for just a second. Notice these are trinomials and binomials, but over here you've got properties of exponents. So we can simply start here by reducing. 4 over 2 is 2. That's x 6 minus 3, which is x to the third power, and 2 minus 1, which is y. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this trinomial and turn it into two binomials. That's going to be x minus 5, x plus 2. I'm going to focus here by taking out my GCF of y, and what's left is x plus 2. Cancel, cancel, and what's left is my answer. 2 times x minus 5 all over y to the, x to the third power. Again, please be prepared to share your answer to question number 10 tomorrow as part of your warm-up at the beginning of class.